welcome. My name is Tanita and I'm founder of Feng Shui Home and Living Improvement. In today's video, in my personal first video on this YouTube channel, I'm going to talk about how I discovered Feng Shui and how I started using it. So if you are interested to hear my personal story, watch this video until the end. And I probably have one of the most unusual reasons why I started to use Feng Shui and how I actually discovered it. So I think it's gonna be very interesting for you to hear. Usually people start to use Feng Shui and implement it in their spaces because of the most common reasons, they want to attract and manifest wealth, money, specific person, better health, and things like that. But for me, I have a completely different reason how I got into all of this, and today I'm sharing it with you. So let's start. My story begins 7 years ago when I moved from Europe to the Middle East because of the professional reasons, because of my career. And this is when I came across a lot of different and unusual situations because for the first time in my life, I shared a living space with people that are coming from different nationalities and different backgrounds. And there was sometimes a lot of people in one house. So I was moving a lot because the accommodation where I used to live was almost always owned by the company. So basically I didn't have a choice. I couldn't choose in that time apartment or a flat for myself or a house, whatever. I was under the company, so whatever would company provide for us, this is the place where we would live. And sometimes we would be moving from another building to another, from one apartment to another, It happened quite often for me because as well I was changing jobs quite frequently. Whenever I, got a better job opportunity, I would take another job and I would go to another level. So basically, I was in the situation when sometimes I shared a villa or a house with, it was a huge living space, but still you would have many people under one roof. Let's say it would be 6 or 7 people, and unfortunately nothing is perfect, so our situation of the home wasn't perfect as well. Those apartments and houses would be new, and furniture and everything would be nicely designed, but people just refused to take care of the space they live in. They wouldn't clean at all. They would keep everything in a mess and dirty and unusable basically. And when you have a lot of people that are acting in that way, after some time it becomes a huge problem and the things escalate. So for me personally, a person that is on the completely opposite side, and I am super clean and organized and very much involved into taking care of my personal space. This is something that was becoming, let's say, a huge problem for me because I started to feel very uncomfortable in my home. And I was just looking for a way to escape the place and not to be at home. And this is not how I am usually, and this is not who I am. But working in the field that I was and I'm still working in, which is hospitality, and sometimes you have a very long working hours. After those hours, you just don't want to come home and be in the mess. You want to come home in a clean space, and you want to have a normal living conditions, and you want to be comfortable. So for me, that wasn't the case. And this was an, I would say, ongoing issue that has been following me from the day one since I moved to the Middle East. And, you know, after, after many, many years of living and working there, my situation wasn't changing. So I was started really to think about this a lot, and it started to worry me, honestly. I was like, what's going on? Why I'm keep going around and round and round in circles? I keep facing the same issues with different people. I changed the company, I moved into a new place. I came across the same profile of the people acting in the exactly same way, having the same bad habits, in my opinion. And I just couldn't figure this out. So basically, it happened. It happened that I really, really started to search for a solution to this, because it was already 3 years that I was just going round and round in the circles. And I really came to the point where I said, listen, universe, God, really, I want to have my own living space. I want to live by myself, because I cannot stand this anymore. This is not who I am. This is not how I want to live. I don't want to go after other people, after, you know, adults, and clean after them, because this is not how it's supposed to be. We are all grown up people, and we shouldn't be babysitting anyone or teaching anyone how to act. So yeah, I was just like looking for a solution to my situation, and my dream in that time would be moving out and living by myself, and having a nice, comfortable and clean home. So I started to really, really meditate on this, because I am someone who is a spiritual person, and I dedicate a lot of my time to spiritual things, and I do meditate a lot. In that time, I started to meditate even more and search for the answer within and for solution to this, because I was running away from the place I was living in. I was eating outside. I couldn't use the kitchen because it was such a mess that I didn't even want to put my food there. So basically I didn't have any food at home. I was constantly eating in the restaurants. In that time also had a boyfriend that had a nice and clean house, so whenever I could, I was there. So basically I started to live there, but that wasn't a solution as well. It wasn't a long-term solution for me. I wanted to have my own personal space, and in that time this just wasn't possible. I didn't have a peace. Like I said, I had zero peace with being at home. And in that time, when I was heavily searching for solutions, because this was now happening for 3 years in a row, and there was no apparently a way out, someone might say, but why you didn't leave the company once again, why you didn't, I don't know, change the job, so maybe you would attract better living conditions for yourself with people that would act differently. In that time I just couldn't, because I loved actually the company that I was working in. I was very happy there, and I was looking for I was working in that time heavily on getting promoted. So I was basically just one step away from getting promoted in my work, and this would change my entire career forever. And this is one of the reasons why at that time the option to leave the company wasn't an option at all for me. Also, the option to live with my boyfriend wasn't option as well for me in that time. I was young, I didn't really look to move in with someone, to be honest. And I liked having my own personal space. So I preferred it that way. Anyway, what happened? What happened is that as you look for the answers always come, maybe in a very weird and unusual ways, but they appear for a reason. And I strongly believe in that. I started to see Feng Shui everywhere, you know. Whenever I would be reading about something online, I don't know, it just happened to appear out of nowhere. And it was a sign. It was definitely a sign because I couldn't escape it, and I started to really do a research on the topic. It got my interest definitely because when I was reading, I saw, okay, this is connected to like a home, a living space, you know, good vibes, good energy, something that I strongly believe in, that everything is energy. And I'm always looking for energetic solution to everything that's happening in my life, personal or professional. I know that I can turn around the situation by turning around my own energy. So it made a lot of sense to me what I was reading, and I was like, okay, so now this could be a solution to my problem. And I really started to study this thing, and every single day, whenever I had time, when I wasn't working or I wasn't somewhere else, I would be just reading about Feng Shui. And it took me some time, honestly, until I really started to implement those things that I read about, because I'm not the person that's gonna jump on first thing that I see. It needs to make sense to me, but in the same time, I need to try it myself to see if it works. For example, meditation, you can tell to someone, listen, these things really is working. It's gonna bring you a lot of good and positive things and benefits. But if the person doesn't experience this by himself, it doesn't make sense for him. It was the same for me with Feng Shui. I was like, okay, what I'm reading, you know, it's fine. It might work, but until I try it, I cannot be 100% sure that this actually is gonna work for me. So I need to take a step forward and I need to take an action on this thing. So my space in that time, my personal space in that house, in that villa, was a master bedroom with a huge bathroom, which I loved. And this was my favorite place in the entire house. So I focused really on arranging that master bedroom and bathroom, which was like my personal part of the home, and leaving the rest as it is. Of course, it was a huge mess. It was a disaster. I just didn't want to get involved in cleaning after other people. And I arranged that space as much as I could according to Feng Shui. So whatever I read about, like the position of the furniture, how it's supposed to be, what kind of colors should be in each corner, you need to buy a baboon plant, you need to get a red doormat, you need to get this, you need to get that. I did it. I went, I bought, I arranged, and I did as much as I could. So what happened very soon after is that I finally got my peace back. Basically, my mind changed, and I really started to feel happy and comfortable in my own personal space, which I didn't have since I came to that house. And it was a huge change for me. because I wasn't looking anymore to run away from home. And somehow I made a peace with everything that's happening around me, which was very surprising. And I knew that this was the effect of Feng Shui that was implemented in my space, because it really shifts your mindset and your attitude and affects your energy field in a very positive way, right? Now I was surrounded with a much better and more positive flow around me, and it really affected me positively. So I was happy. I was happy with the results, and I was like, okay, this is really working, because I didn't do anything new. I was meditating. I'm always meditating. This is not anything new. I was already in that time meditating for a very long time. But Feng Shui was the only new thing in my life, basically. So I knew what's happening now with me. It's thanks to Feng Shui. And yeah, so a few months after, I was different. I was really different, and now I had even like a hope that my situation is gonna get even better than this. For some reason, I was like, expecting some sort of miracle, which appeared soon after into my life. I don't know how many months passed since I arranged everything according to Feng Shui. I think it was 3 or 4 months when my life basically changed upside down in a most positive way. Basically, I got promoted at my current job. I got promotion, and with the promotion came my own apartment. So I was very happy, and I was very pleased with the results. I knew it's the work that I put in, professionally, privately on myself as well, but as well a big thanks to discovering Feng Shui and for bringing even more positive energy into my space, into my life, which attracted and manifested maybe faster all these things that I wanted for me, for myself. And basically the apartment that I got was a huge upgrade. I was struggling for a few years living in the conditions in which I told you about, and now finally I have my own place. I have my own place, a very luxury apartment in one of the best buildings and areas you can live in the entire city. And it's huge for one person. It's too big. It's for minimum 2 people. It has amazing view of the beach and the sea. I have a beach across the building. I have a spa and I have a gym. I have a pool in the building. I have a restaurant. I have a room service. I have the best possible conditions ever that you can. I didn't even, dream about having all of that in my building. I just wanted to have my own space, but this was way more than my expectations. And yeah, so this is my story about how I actually discovered Feng Shui and how it brought first miracle into my life. But I never stopped using it since Taka Feng Shui exists, of course. I never started using it, and with every new home that I came in, I would continuously practice Feng Shui, and I would always arrange my home according to it, because I knew it's helping me on all the possible levels, and it's affecting all the life areas. So it changed my life a lot, privately and professionally. It changed me a lot as well. And there are many things that I do believe happen to because of Feng Shui, which I'm gonna speak about in the future videos. This is just an intro for you, and this is just one small story, and there are many more stories that I will be sharing with you in the future. So if you want to learn more about it and hear more about it, subscribe to this channel, because more content is coming, and I will be updating every single week. I will be posting new videos, so you have opportunity to learn more about this. And thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope to see you soon in the next one. Thank you.